I wasn't going to put in all of our bickering. I'm tired of starting the podcast when we actually do new ones, which, toss the coin on that, with us bickering and doing shots and stuff. So, let's, I just wanted to make sure we're on the same program today.
The time is precious. You should have been recording already.
Your time means nothing to me. I just reciprocate the way you respect my time. Anyway, what you got for me today? What's going on?
I got a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of stuff. What are you drinking first off? What's your choice of drink?
I got Knob Creek over here.
Mm.
But I got this is like a small batch bottle. And it's fucking like not like good. It's like Knob Creek that was swirled by someone's dick. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like your buddy, nice. What's his name? That makes
like Jeff Roth stirring
right.
Snake Master's drink.
By the way, if you, I know you never check our TikTok, but our TikTok has a highlight from the rerun episode we ran the other day of you telling the swizzle stick story, the swizzle dick.
That was a good night.
Yeah, you said that was you said that was like the wasn't that the Patriots game, the
Patriots Raiders, the tuck rule,
the tuck rule, the fuck rule, the rule that fucked us all for 20 years.
Right, for 20 years, literally fucked us all.
Fucked us all for 20 years.
Well, except for if you're a Giants fan, we fucked them twice. So.
Right. Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah. Those are football references for all you UK people out there. I know you don't. Well, most of you wouldn't get that.
Well, so I would tell you, speaking about UK and sports, I don't even know why I was baffled by this, but I made a post I went to the Pittsburgh Pirates game last week in Pittsburgh, and I made a little video of the game. It totally bombed. And all the people in the comments from the UK were like, what's baseball? And I'm like, okay, look, I get it. They don't have baseball there. They're all the way on the other side of the pond. But, like, with the internet today...
But you don't have to... Like, it doesn't have to be snarky. Like, I don't watch cricket, but I don't go, what's cricket? I know what it is. Right. I live on this planet.
That was my point. My point was, how can you say, what's baseball, acting like you're clueless, like you don't have the fucking Google machine?
Right, let's be honest. There are so many more TV shows and movies that get played over there that feature baseball in them than we have over here featuring cricket, and yet we would know what cricket is, So
exactly,
I don't even buy that.
They were like confused.
They're just being assholes. What's baseball?
Well, I will say, look, they are pretty snarky people, and if you got thin skin, like if you're like one of these millennial Americans, you would never make it because they are rough. They are like.
Can I tell? I've got a plan now. I'm going to start a new TikTok, and I'm literally, now that you're kind of have run your fucking course tasting British food, like you've done, like you're done, like there's no more like virals out of that. You've worn out your welcome doing that.
You're wrong.
You've worn out your welcome doing that. You've done it ad nauseum. You've even lost your flavor. You know what I mean? Your personal flavor. Like I
don't know. I gained 2,500 followers today, so I just
all of a sudden. Well, I'm just saying that the carpet's been worn pretty thin on this already. That now I'm going to start doing it as if I've never tried British candies, and I'm just going to just steal your gimmick entirely. Except I'm going to make it entertaining. I'm going to be entertaining.
Sure.
And have a little bit of a work ethic, and we'll see if I can get on Drew Barrymore and reach your number of followers in a quicker amount of time than you did. That's my personal goal, is to upstage you.
Drew Barrymore did not want to have me on for the candy. You realize?
Let me tell you something. How did they find you though? They didn't go to like the circle of single dads, because you're not a single dad TikTok. You don't do TikToks every
Right.
day
Yeah.
of being
Okay.
a single
So
dad.
I don't
I
know where they even got that from.
so someone was watching it and realized you were a single dad, but they found you
Hey,
because
they didn't care about the
because
food. They didn't even want me
they
to talk about
they
that.
found you because you're a gluttonous pig. That's how they found you. They didn't find you because you're dad of the year. Trust me. Your name ain't
Oh,
even
well, I
in
mean,
the
I'm pretty close.
your name ain't even in the running.
I mean, I'm like, this is like 12 years running.
Do you even know where your kids are right now?
Yeah, actually, they're actually at it's
Okay.
graduation. They went to graduation tonight to go watch their friends graduate.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, as one of Nick's friends was coming downstairs with the TV today, I said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, you had an extra TV in the extra room. I'm gonna borrow it." I was like, "What?" The kid's like, "I'm gonna borrow the TV because I'm gonna go home and play Xbox. I don't have a TV." And I said, "Aren't you graduating tomorrow?" And he said, "This was yesterday." He said, "Yeah." I said, "So you don't have a TV? You're graduating. You're borrowing a TV from me." I said, "You better bring that shit back." I said, "Your life is about." I gave him a whole
Hold on.
spiel.
He was borrowing one of your TVs without telling you he was going to, or asking.
He just came down the stairs. I was sitting on the couch watching AEW, and I was like,
No, I mean,
"What the hell are you doing?"
I understand. Like Nick probably signed off on this with
Yeah,
some
100%.
with some
Right.
false authority, claiming he has some limited power of attorney in that house. But
Right.
but nobody came to you and asked if this was cool. See,
No,
this is the
I
kind.
was sitting on the couch.
See, this is the kind of shit that like you're not fucking swatting your kid enough, and you're not wearing like a good like a big pinky ring when you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like you gotta
First, I gotta be honest
crack
with you.
this kid.
I don't know where this TV came from. Like, I've never seen this TV. I've never used this TV. Nick claims it was an extra TV he had. He put it in the other room. Anyway, kid comes down, and I'm like, so I give this kid the business about, like, tomorrow's your life is changing. You graduate, So the kid comes over today, and he's here this afternoon, and he's like, looks kind of like down. And I said, what's up, buddy? He's like, kid's like 6'5". He's gigantic. And he said,
was this the one that went to the prom with him?
No, this is different. He has two friends that are gigantic. So he said, after the talk yesterday about the TV, and he told me kind of about like my life changing. He goes, "Man, I couldn't stop thinking about it all night." And I said, "Oh yeah." He's like, "My life is literally like I'm an adult now, and like I don't go to high school anymore." And like he's like, it set in after you said it. I was like, good. He's like, looking for words of wisdom, and I said, "Listen, kid, it gets way shittier from here. It doesn't get any better." I said, "You may have a couple of years where you party a little bit." I go, "But then it's downhill." And the kid was like, "Man, the realization hit me. Like, he's like, you're so real. Like, you don't pull punches." And I said, "Oh no, it's gonna be fucking miserable. You got to work 40 hours plus a week. You got to pay bills and taxes." And the kid was like, just depressed.
God forbid you got a girlfriend or wife that's sucking you dry on the other end.
Right. You get somebody pregnant. Oh, fuck, you're done. So they got in the car, they left, and Nick texted me and said, "He's really depressed now." I was like, "Nah, I've done my job."
Oh, you're the fucking bummer dad.
I was like, his parents must be lying to him.
Either that or they're like, they're not acting like anything's different. Like, they assume, oh, he's still going to be living here. And, if he already had a job, he's still going to work that job. Like, nothing changes for the parents except maybe they'll see him a little more or even a little less. You replace school with like work. So they're like, he's still fucking gone all day,
Right.
So maybe they weren't intimating like, listen, you gotta go fly free. You're out of the nest now. Maybe they're the other type of parent that let him stay, or he's not going to college, or any of these combinations.
I'm just glad he had a little rude awakening. He thought about it all night. He came today with this depressed look on his face, and I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You see all this, pal?
It'd be great.
This is it.
Yeah, it'd be great. This is like this is like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where like you've given this kid a reality check, and he's like, he's like now contemplating all of his life decisions and whatever. And slowly over the course of weeks and weeks, he keeps bringing other friends over to get the talk. And then like 6 months later, like depression skyrocketing in your town, and all the doctors are prescribing antidepressants. And
they're like, what's going on?
Right.
Finally, somebody tells one of their parents, and next thing I know, I got like a mob at the house of parents. Like, what are you even telling our kids? Yeah.
I did that. I became that in a limited capacity, in a different way, a limited capacity, years ago. Our two good friends, Jensen and Valenti. This was back in the ring ratty kind of days between the two, this was like when I think I don't want to. Should I name names? Like she was just bouncing from like.
What does it matter at this
from
point?
like wrestler to wrestler, from 450 to Harry Smith to this guy, and I'm like, and like I think I caught her on the phone, and I was talking to her about it, and she literally said something like, I was like, you got to go somewhere else to fucking meet someone. I mean, first of all, there's an internet. Right. Second of all, go to a fucking bookstore or a grocery store. Stop going to fucking wrestling shows looking for a boyfriend. Like, that is the fucking worst.
Right. We all know that's horrible.
I dressed her down. I told her she was acting like a fucking rat, that this was rat mentality. She even said at one point, like, well, if I don't go to the shows, where am I going to find that? And I'm like, that's when I like went off on her. I'm like, your brain is wired all wrong right now. You're like thinking completely like a rat. Like the only boyfriends are going to be guys at wrestling shows on the other side of the barricade. You're going to be you're going to be driving guys from city to city, dog watching their dogs when they're out of town and buying them steaks when they're in town. And you're going to be miserable, but that's the only life you know. And it's going to be like abusive behavior going from like wrestler to wrestler. I dressed her down for like 45 minutes. And she was like, I totally needed this talk. I wasn't even thinking. I'm seeing things like a normal human being for once. You're totally right. Yada, yada. So like a day goes by and Jensen reaches out to me and goes, I heard you straightened Valente out. I think you need to give me the same. She like came to me to get fucking yelled at for the same shit. Now this was listen, this was pre-Bruce, but she had a string of fucking winners too. So I was like, all right, as long as you give me license. Like this was a dream. It wasn't even like I was pep talking them or motivationally speaking to them. I was literally just telling them the truth about all their fucking stupidity they're doing in their lives and how dumb they're acting, and this mentality in wrestling of being the ring rat, and how it's sunk into their brains, and they're becoming a thing we all make fun of, and yada yada. And I just like I decimated one, and literally the next day the other one's calling me going, me too, do me. And I'm like, oh my god, this is surreal. But it was such a blast because
you giving advice to them too.
It's no holds barred. I'm like bringing things up from the past. I'm like back into like the days when we were in our early 20s, going like when you fucking mailed Hurricane Helms a package with a can of whipped cream in your panties. What are you thinking? And I'm just like on and on and on, just yelling at these girls. And they're like, you're right. They have no argument because it's logic. It's truth. It's like, I have no agenda here. I'm just pointing out what they're doing. And they're like, you're right. I can't argue that. You're right. And it was like, I was like, man, there's something here. If I could, I could just, like I say, and if everyone that comes brings two friends the next time, I could really start making a killing on this. But
just hang around wrestling shows and give advice to ring rats.
Just like these like intervention-y type things.
They don't exist anymore. It's frowned upon.
No, it's not. They all are boyfriends and wives now. They're not. There's no such thing as ring rats anymore.
Right.
Should we? You should explain what a ring rat is to people.
So a ring rat is basically like a groupie for a rock and roll band. They are
a groupie is for a rock and roll band. A ring rat is for wrestling.
Right. For wrestling, right. Same thing though. So they hang around the shows. They will hang around the locker room. They'll hang around the backs, outside.
The parking
They'll hang
lots.
around parking lots, ringside after shows, looking for the wrestlers that they want to, partake in some sexual activities with after.
But
and they literally they'll do that. They'll pay for your dinners. They'll pay for your lunches. They'll
drive
pay your
you.
car note. They'll do whatever. And then, they're basically, and they know, and maybe in their mind they think that one day you're going to date them, because nowadays, I mean, that's what happens. But
it's like, well, I'm like, I'm doing all this great stuff for him. I'm spending all this time with him. One day it's almost
right.
It's almost like the Ducky mentality when that, like from, what was the movie? It wasn't 16 Candles. It was one of those other. One of those other movies where John Cryer was like following Molly Ringwald around the whole time, and he was like the best friend, but he was in love with her, but she never saw him as anything but the best friend, and the character's name is Ducky. So I always, like, when I see this situation, I'm always like, oh, he's a Ducky. Is any guy that follows around a girl, pining after her, hoping that one day they'll realize that the perfect guy has been here all along, and I've just been overlooking him for these douchebags, and that the moment will happen, but the moment never happens. If you're a Ducky, you're fucked. You are just forget it. That's the friend zone kind of thing, But those
right.
But they never tell you you're friend zone. Or if they do, you're in such a state of denial that you're like.
Now I will say there is some that they know what they're doing. They strictly know, like, because. It's almost like there's some out there I've seen actually work the wrestler. Like, they trick the wrestler into thinking, right? And these girls are out there,
They want the tiny rub, or they've got the fetish where they want to fuck wrestlers.
They get that spotlight.
Yeah,
right. Like, but that game's over with now. Now they all date him and whatever. But so. That's funny that you gave those two the talk. I've never heard you. You never told me that story before.
I mean, stick around, pal. I got plenty of stories. You want to hear another story?
Yeah.
You want to hear another story?
What's your other story?
About what I did Sunday night.
What did you do?
Well, so like 11:30 at night, I get a phone call on Facebook because my phone was still muted from when we did the podcast earlier in the night.
Right.
And I look, and he had tried to call me on the phone first, but I didn't answer because it didn't ring. Was Marco, my next door neighbor and former podcast partner, and he was calling to tell me that him and the wife got food poisoning, and that they needed me to take them to the emergency room.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I knew, like, my roommate had left like 20 minutes earlier. So before I even go walk over there to see what their situation is, I text my roommate, go, you fucking timed this perfectly. Because he would have been the one that got recruited to drive them there. And he's laughing. He goes, yeah, he called me first, but I told him I was already on my way down to Miami. Call Ben.
Wow.
So I go over there. I thought I was taking them both because he said someone was there watching the kid. They have that newborn, and I assumed I was taking both of them. But then when I get over there, he's like, "Just take my wife. I'm going to stay here, et cetera, et cetera." So now I'm driving someone else's wife to the emergency room.
Right.
And dude, I haven't been to a hospital in probably 40 years. And even then it was to visit someone else. It wasn't even to like, for myself. So I don't even know where a hospital fucking is. So I'm like putting on the Google Maps or whatever. And like, she's sitting next to me and she's kind of like moaning and groaning. And it's uncomfortable silence.
Moaning and groaning.
It's a little uncomfortable silence because I don't want to small talk someone that's nauseous. And I also don't want to small talk someone that's like, it's like if I was feeling sick, last thing I need is an ear beating. So
I don't want to hear from you. Right.
So I'm driving. It's like a 10-minute drive to the hospital. And and I go in, and I drop her off up front. And I go, let me just go in and I'll park the car, because it's like, unless you need me to walk you in, at some point it's like I'm drawing a line. Unless you need me, I'm not doing like the husband boyfriend shit. You know, I'm gonna like, you know. So I drop her off up front. She walks in. I go park the car. I walk in, and they're already like they've already got her in one of like the little cubicles in the ER reception area, and they're like writing down some information or whatever. And I'm sitting there, and I sit down in like the just the waiting area.
Yeah.
Then they take her into like the back area, and the nurse like waves me to come. So I go with them.
You're the husband. You're the standing.
Well,
husband.
I don't know if anything was like
right.
If anything was established, but I think they knew I was just her ride or something. But it's like I follow because I don't know what's going on, and also I want to know like whether I could split or not, and we go into this other area, and then it's private rooms and stuff. But the room's like fucking tiny. There's like a bed she gets put in, and they're like starting to strap things to her and whatever. There's one lady in there like doing this, and she's like, go sit over there. I sit in this chair, and it's like the only like available space. And every time someone comes in and needs to do something, I'm like in the way. I got to get up out of the chair. They got to go over there. So I'm like, I'm totally in the way. And I'm uncomfortable because I'm like, I have nothing to do with this. This isn't like, I mean, she's my friend, but at the same time, I don't need to be in this room with her. But now it's like, what am I, the dick that's like, oh, well, you're fine here. I'm going to go wait out there because I don't even know what.
Like now you're stuck. You've committed.
Right. Also,
stepping in.
Also, I don't know if once I leave and go back into the ER like receiving area waiting room, if I could go back to the other area. If I can't go back in the other area, I may not be able to find out anything and not know how long I'm stuck here, what the situation, you know. So I'm sitting there, and they're like, eventually give her an IV. She's got a puke bag, et cetera, et cetera. She was drinking like from a water bottle the whole way over there, and I'm like thinking, if she's been like food poisoning to the point where like I'm taking her to the ER, maybe she shouldn't be like drinking so much.
Right.
And when they sat her in the chair, I mean in the bed or whatever, she was asked if she gets water. The lady even said, you shouldn't be drinking anything if you're, and I'm like thinking, like, oh boy, here we go. So at one point, they're all gone, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just on my phone, and she's just kind of moaning. Like every now and then, just a little,
kind of moaning.
She's just kind of like a little uncomfortable, like, you know, and eventually she's like, can you, she asked me if I could like tilt the bed up, and you know it's got all these adjustable things like raise it, lower it, this, that. This is the only thing I'm like kicking every foot pedal that's there. Nothing's doing what she wants it to do, and I finally figured out how to do it. And like 3 times I'd adjust it only to get to the angle where she could throw up. Like it was like too low. I can't throw up like that. I can't throw like that. So I finally get the right angle, and she like fills this bag, and I'm like just watching it fill back from my comfortable chair position, and it's all just water. It's water, and then Gatorade, Yeah. I'm like, aha, it's green now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just thinking like, yep, there's all the water that they told her she shouldn't be drinking. Right. So then they like come in, they IV her, they do this, they do that. One lady's asking if she has pain up high, and Natalia goes, yeah. But like where she says, would you have pain? It's like, well, if you've been throwing up for 4 hours, your stomach muscles all up there with
your stomach, right?
So this lady's like, oh, we're gonna have to do a such and such scan see if it's your gallbladder. And immediately she was like, oh, well, my husband has it too. It's got to be food poisoning. We both didn't contract gallbladder problems at the same time.
Right.
So it's just like all this shit's going on. I'm always in the way. I'm sitting in there. I'm waiting. I don't want to be the guy that's like, how much longer is this going to be? You know, like completely unsympathetic or whatever. But at the same time, no one's saying like, all right, it's going to be an hour before someone can see you, or you're going to be here for 3 hours and then we'll reassess. So I'm not getting any of that. And in the meantime, you know, I have to sit through her throwing up. I have to sit through this. I have to sit through that. Finally, one of the ladies is like, puts the IV in, and she's like, well, this will take about, X amount of time, to go into you, and then you should be feeling better. And I'm like, and I go, and there was something else. So she said it's going to be at least like an hour or two. And I go, that's when it was my opening to be like, so it's going to be at least a couple hours before anything, no matter what. She's like, yeah. I go, okay, well then I'm fucking out of here. I'm like going to go home.
Right.
And I'm like, I'll let Marco know what's going on, and you can like, you can either, tell him, and if he could pick you up, great. And if not, I'll come get you. So, so I'm out of there. So I go home and I watch TV for like an hour and a half, and she calls me again. Apparently Marco was asleep. So I had to go get her. This whole fiasco. I'm not home. I'm not home till 3:00 on the dot.
Oh my God, I would be livid.
So I go back, and by the way, I haven't worn a mask in like 3 or 4 months. I don't go anywhere where we need masks. Florida's like basically a no mask state unless you're doing certain things, which I haven't been doing, like going to hospitals. So I'm wearing this mask in the hospital, and I'm getting lightheaded because I haven't worn a mask in forever, and it's just my hot breath like cooking me, So I go back, and I'm like, well, I don't need to go back in there. She had told me like, I'm going to be discharged. You could wait 20 minutes and then whatever. It ended up taking like an hour, but I finally get back in there. I'm sitting down, and it's like the first time I was in there in the main ER thing, I'm like thinking, oh, I'm going to see all kinds of fucked up shit. I'm going to have like people that accidentally cut their finger off or whatever. It was nothing. The next time I came in there, it was literally like one person barely holding their arm on. There's blood everywhere.
My God.
There's these other two that look like they got wheeled in right off the street. The guy's in a fucking wheelchair, and the girl is like sitting in a chair next to him. They're both passed the fuck out under one blanket. Over the blanket that's covering him, it looks like he's dribbled food all over it. And then the seat next to him, she's next to him, and the other seat next to him is a can of baked beans with like a spoon sticking out of it. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I know what's on this fucking blanket. Well, it was just like it was a bit of a freak show in there, and so then I'm sitting, and she finally she came out, and I had to like tag in to be someone else's husband. It wasn't even the fun parts of being a husband. You know what I mean? It was like
you didn't even get to see a boob or anything.
Well,
nothing.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like that's how uncomfortable I was in there. They're like, like they're like taking her sweater off, and they're like, and she's like trying to keep her shirt down, and I'm like, I'm not even looking, but I'm more aware of it happening because they're making a deal of like, and I'm like, I don't want to be in here. Come on, get me out of here. And I didn't want to be the asshole. Like, how much longer is this going to be? I got a frozen pizza waiting for me at home.
I feel like Marco owes you like this isn't like he owes you like a high five, like, or a slap on the ass. Like, Marco owes you for this. Like, this is a big deal. Like, you went above and beyond.
I mean, it's what friends do, but
still above and beyond.
I wouldn't argue against like, someone buying me a dinner or a lunch or something. Right. I wouldn't hate that. I mean,
cheap fuck could have sent the pizza over.
All my friends are cheap and selfish, so they wouldn't. Right. Exactly. They don't do thoughtful things, so
Right.
You included.
Wow. No, I knew that. That's unbelievable that he had to say. So I did see on Facebook today that it wasn't food poisoning. And she's like, oh, maybe it's some sort of new strain of COVID. Like, come on, really? Like, let's be real here. They either ate something bad, something happened, or they just got a stomach bug.
How do they both like that?
No.
At the exact same time. I mean, it could have been a stomach bug, but I didn't catch it.
Could have been a stomach bug.
I was around both of them, so.
I was wishing you would. But...
Yeah, I know you. I was aware that I saw you shit post on her thing. Yeah. I just wrote hashtag gallbladder, and
yeah, I saw that. Now I get it. Well, so you're talking about hospital. Good lead into some stories here. So first off, I've been quarantined for 5 days at work for work because I was in close contact with people in Pittsburgh who tested positive for COVID.
Can I point out
So
the irony
yeah,
of the fact that you have been home for the last 5 days, and it's been harder for me to fucking coordinate and do a
because
podcast
you
with
don't
you?
understand.
No,
Because I'm being punished for being home. So it was like, you're home, you're not out in the stores, so we can give you extra work to do. That's our work, but we'll give it to you to do because you're just sitting there.
good.
I've been
I'm
working. Like
glad.
I'm not even. I'm going to get off the phone with you. I've got 2 more projects to do by tomorrow morning, so I've got to get right back to work. So I've been quarantined at home.
Here's the other problem with that is that they're going to realize you're capable of doing so much more in a week than you have been
I
doing.
know.
That now they're
I
going to
know.
fucking bury you in work all the time.
Here's the other thing, though. I'm a master at this. Like, listen, they gave me a project, and I sat there for about 30 minutes, kind of thinking, just trying to like think through this project of how I want to do it, how to do it, what to do. And the bright idea came up is somebody out there already has these notes. It's just not in a formal document. So I reached out to some people, and one guy was like, "Oh yeah, I have my own version," and sent it to me. I literally copy and paste it and put it into one of the documents. And I told him, I said, "I'm just going to give you credit and say that you had it," and I copy and pasted it. Just his document was like 8 pages. I literally put it into 1 page because they wanted a 1-pager. Totally stole it from someone. Took me 10 minutes. Done. Boom. Send. But yeah, I've been home because I'm quarantined. But everybody, that was sick, they're all sick. I can't come back till I get a negative test, which I was to take today. I took it today. I'm negative because I don't have COVID.
You never had
So
it. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm negative, and it's funny because only 2 people tested negative out of the group that was like 11 of us, and it's the only 2 unvaccinated people. All the other 9 all have COVID. They're all sick, and me and the other guy are unvaccinated, and neither of us got COVID. So I don't know how the hell that's even possible, or some of them aren't even sick. They're like, "Oh, I got a positive test." And I was like, "Are you sick?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Maybe the test isn't right." Like, if you're not sick, you don't feel sick. You're boosted. You're everything. Like, maybe you really don't have it. Like, I don't know if that's true. You know. Uh, so, but
But
anyway,
that's what
I
the
got to stay
test is
home for
for.
5 days. Right, but they all tested positive, and I'm like, that's so weird. And I'm negative, so I did it this morning. Uh, so they're like, "Yeah, you can go back to work tomorrow." Yeah, I'm definitely working from home tomorrow. It's Friday. Come on, like I'm not going to go out in the field.
Right.
Friday. But yeah, I've been home. I've literally been working in shorts and a tank top. I even usually when the conference calls come on because they're video, I put a shirt on. I forgot to put a shirt on Tuesday on the last call, or Wednesday. It was Tuesday. It was Tuesday. I took the call on a tank top with my hairy chest and all, and I'm like, I literally look on the screen at myself like 2 minutes in, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I forgot to throw on a polo shirt." I'm literally the only one in a tank top, and 2 seconds later, somebody messaged me and was like, "Jesus, put the wolf away." And I was like, "Oh God, my hairy chest is sticking out for the world to see." But I did wear a singlet at a awards ceremony, so they've all seen it before. It's not like they haven't. But yeah, so I've been quarantined, and yeah. So, but I go back technically tomorrow, and I'm negative. I don't know. My superior genes, they fought it off.
I don't think
So
that.
I don't know what
Pretty
to
sure
tell you.
that's not what it is.
I don't know what it is. It's probably because I've had COVID like 7 times already. My body's like, "No, you're good." So, but you were talking about a hospital. So this is 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I had to take someone to the hospital, and I dropped them off, but I had to stay there. I hadn't been in a hospital since the kids were born, so you're talking 15 years ago. I don't go to the hospital. They made me wear the mask, but I figured they were like, "Well, there's a Starbucks and a Chick-fil-A downstairs, and it's going to be a couple hours." So I moseyed my ass downstairs, and I'm like, "Well, if I'm eating or drinking, I don't have to wear a mask." So I sat in the cafeteria and literally sipped my coffee and ate Chick-fil-A for like a couple hours because I knew I wouldn't have to wear the mask if I did. So I just sat there and like worked on my computer, and and then like I ran out of food, and I was like, shit. So I went back up and I was like, hey, you know, do you guys have anything else besides Chick-fil-A? She's like, what you want, honey? And I was like, make me something. She made me a breakfast burrito. So I went back down, sat, ate that, like took my time, but I figured out a way to not have to wear the mask in the hospital. Just sat in the cafeteria the whole time.
Just be busy eating the whole time.
And what
That's one of your specialties.
I was like nervous going in because I'm like, I know I'm going to be here for a couple hours waiting for them to be done. And I'm like, cafeteria food sucks, like, you know. And I walk in and there's a Starbucks and a Chick-fil-A. I'm like, hospitals have really come up. I mean, I guess it's smart, right, to work a contract with them. I guess, right?
I mean, I don't know.
It's pretty smart.
I don't know how much traffic they get through there, and how much of that's
It
people
was busy.
want to spend money.
It was busy in there. So,
like, just like,
yeah, I mean, the hospital.
I don't know why it's any different than a rest stop.
Right, but I mean, last time I was in the hospital 15 years ago, it's not like they had a McDonald's in there. You were roughing it with whatever shit cafeteria food they had, right, and the crap coffee. So they've come a long way. But yeah. So it was the first time I'd been in the hospital in 15 years, and it was hospitals just creep me out. They just really do. Like they smell weird, and they're always like super cold and yeah, weird.
I didn't notice any of that.
But
ours,
because you were worried about, you were playing, you know, fucking Papa Salvino over there. You had a fucking gonna call you Marco too.
Yeah, no,
you're his stunt cock.
Jesus. No thanks. How dare you?
Yeah. Well, today's also a big day.
For who?
Blake Chadwick's birthday. We should have had him on the show just because it was his birthday. Never mind, he wouldn't have got to come on. He's probably busy eating a steak dinner with Neil.
Right, free steak dinner time. That's how I refer to it now, with him and his dad. When either of them have a birthday, I just write happy free steak dinner day or happy steak dinner day.
Right.
I mean, it's not free.
So what I really wanted
it's not free for Neil, though. Even on Neil's birthday, it's not free.
No. What I really wanted to write was you know, on Blake, I wrote happy birthday. I can't wait to see all the unders who wish you, you know, happy birthday.
You didn't say unders. You didn't say unders. You said
what did I say? Jobbers.
I think jobbers or independent wrestlers or something.
Yeah. What I really meant was how many more times could Lou or Seth Greg wish him a happy birthday and, you know, jerk his chain. So that's what I really meant.
Right.
You know, because him and Lou Spector, big buddies. So, but yeah, his birthday. Honest to God, we on our thread with Blake. I mean, we were 2 hours in before I even realized it was his birthday. I don't know if you know this, but he made like 3 birthday comments, and I was like, who the hell's birthday is it? I finally went to his page and realized, oh shit, it's his birthday. I was like, that's what he was talking about. I didn't know it was his birthday. I thought it was someone else's. He was saying he sent a couple posts. I couldn't open them.
Oh,
so he sent happy birthday.
He sent one. This is why I didn't know it was his birthday either. He sent one that was like a screenshot of someone going, happy birthday to like the holy man or something like that, or the
something like
religious
that,
guy or something. It was something weird, and obviously that's why he sent it to us. He's like, look at this guy. What the fuck is this?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, it must be Blake's birthday. And then I made a point of like him of acknowledging he sent that so that he knows I read it. He knows that I know it's his birthday. And then I waited like a good 45 minutes to an hour before I posted a happy birthday on his page so that he would like, just to like make him like kind of antsy, be like, well, he knows it's my birthday. And he saw the thing and he said something about it, but he hasn't wished me happy birthday. He didn't do it in the chat. Right. He did like, anytime I can like nudge that kid and like kind of like fuck with him. I try him.
Oh, but I knew that. I knew, right. And then, so I did the same thing. Once I realized it was his birthday, I waited a little bit. I was like, yeah, I'm not letting him win this one.
I got to play
games.
And
not even on his birthday. Right.
At least he's not like these people that start announcing 3 weeks until my birthday month.
Right.
They're like, not only are they like Like, if on the day of your birthday, if like 3/4 through the day, you want to thank everyone for the birthday wishes so that anyone that didn't realize it's your birthday can wish you happy birthday on your birthday, that's
Right.
about as allowable as it is. Don't be like talking for a week, 3 more days till my birthday,
Yeah, oh, birthday
week till my
week.
birthday, and don't be
Right.
celebrating no birthday week, no birthday month. Fuck out of here with that shit. That's so obnoxious. Like, if you do that, you're getting no acknowledgement. First of all, I'm definitely not donating to any fucking fundraiser for your birthday. Fuck you. If you're touting, if I have money on hand at the time, like, I'll throw like $5 or $10 or $20 to your thing if you have something that I don't think is like a total fucking work.
Right.
You know, like if you're like fucking, hey, instead of buying me gifts and cards, if you would just donate $20 to the Human Fund, you know, then I'm gonna be like, no.
The Human Fund. Right. So true. Yeah.
But yeah, I
just didn't know it was his birthday until like I totally was not putting it together, and I realized it, and I was like, I'm waiting.
The sun had been up a healthy amount of time for the day before I realized, let alone acknowledged his birthday.
Right. Yeah, same here.
And listen, Facebook was on my side with this. Like, it'll go like 100 days where every day it alerts me to who's having birthdays.
Right.
And then every now and then there'll be a day where it doesn't tell me it's someone's birthday. I just won't get a notice. And I didn't today. Yeah, I didn't get any.
I didn't get one either.
Yeah.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, Facebook knows. Facebook knows.
They know. They're
They
like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Zuckerberg's like, oh, fuck, this guy has a birthday, don't tell anybody. Yeah.
I mean, how old is he anyways?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. Who knows?
What do I gotta
I feel like he's like Billy Five. The age never changes. He's always 25. So, yeah. Fuck that guy too. So, yeah. But, yeah, I'm glad you got to play Papa Salvino this week.
I didn't really.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
I didn't really. I mean, I was basically chauffeur. Like, I didn't watch the kid.
You were in the room, pal.
I didn't
watch in the room.
I did.
You know the best part is, hold on.
I did watch a woman throw up her entire contents.
Right.
Yes.
I was about to say, you did all this while Marco was asleep. He couldn't even pick her up. Well, he was fucked up. I'm just saying.
He was. See, she did the smart thing. She went to the hospital. They pumped her full of like IV and vitamins, and whatever. And then she was like basically back in business. She probably felt like shit, but she was back in business. Marco missed 2 more days of work. Right. Because he never went. Yeah, he saw a doctor or a hospital or anything. You know. Right. Now the funny thing. I
don't think I would have either.
The funny thing was, I think it was Monday. I'm like settling in to watch 3 hours of bad wrestling on TV. And my roommate all of a sudden is like, he pops up out of his chair and he's like, oh, I'll be back. I go, where are you going? He goes, oh, I'm going over to Marco's to watch the kid for him. He's you know, like, I don't know, like he wasn't feeling good or something. And I'm like, okay, you know, like, and I like laughed. I said, I'm better you than me, but don't let the secret slip out that I'm the one that had 3 younger brothers and sisters and know all about watching babies and changing diapers and all. You're like, I'm a pro. I can do that shit with my eyes closed. And, but I'm thankful that I don't have to do that. I said, so I was like, again, I'm very happy that he called you and not me. This baby hasn't earned my respect, hasn't earned.
Not yet, right.
No. All the baby has done is cost me victories in Dolphins games so far. It's come over my house, and every time it came over my house, the Dolphins lost. It's the baby's a mush. I don't need that shit in my life. I don't need that negativity.
Right. Well, I mean, look who the baby's father is.
Right. King Mush.
He passed the mush down generation.
Not only is he King Mush, but he's king of the reverse mush too.
Right. Here's my question, and I think, good story. I didn't know the whole story. Just made it even better now that I knew. But we can end the podcast with this because out of all this that we just talked about, I've got one question. Did you eat the frozen pizza at 3 o'clock in the morning when you got home? That's the question.
No. What happened was
I knew there was a story with this. I knew it.
the second time I went to go get her from the hospital,
Right.
I thought to myself, well, I got a little bit of time. She said, don't leave for 20 minutes. I was like, let me hit the CVS on the way over there and grab a bag of, they've got like their own brand of like snacks, like chips and popcorns and stuff. They've got like their generic brand, but they make like a sriracha flavored popcorn, which is like, I've never seen it anywhere else. It's fucking fantastic.
Right.
So I was like, I had it on my brain, but somewhere between the time that I had decided I was going to do this and when I left, I forgot. And I was about 3/4 of the way to the hospital and I forgot and I was kicking myself. Mm-hmm. So then I'm sitting there for another hour waiting on her, all full of regret and whatever. And when she gets in the car and we're driving back, she's like, do you mind if we stop at CVS? And I go, as a matter of fact, I don't mind because she wanted to get Gatorades and stuff. And she said, whatever you want is my treat. So I got
So you ended up getting, wow.
So I made her buy me a bag of that popcorn. It was on sale, but whatever. So yeah. So I did at 3 o'clock in the morning. I literally walk in the door. I look at the clock. 3 o'clock on the dot is when I got home. I walk in. I sit on the.
I like that. I
sit on the couch, click on the remote. Yeah, it was like an Al Bundy moment. One hand down my pants, the other hand pulling handfuls of popcorn out of a bowl and stuffing them in my face while I watch like.
What a good ending.
Walking Dead off the DVR.
That's when the credits roll.
Yeah, and they play Love and Marriage. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Good stuff. I knew there was food at the end.
Of course there was food. Like, well, here's the thing. Like, you're thinking, like, it's 3 o'clock. Go to bed. Do the responsible thing. Don't.
Oh, no, I would have did what you did. No way. I would have did what you did.
But also, like, you're like, not only have you, like, been, like, not up till 3 in the morning, but you're doing shit. You're driving. You're like, you're ducking puke. You're doing this. You're doing that.
Right.
You get home, you're kind of wired, like you just came back from like doing some real active shit. Yeah. And so I had to sit there for like 2.5 hours before I went to bed at like 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah. No, look, I am not hating on you. I agree.
Plus I was basking in the glow of doing a good deed. It had been so long since this is so George Costanza of me. Like
that popcorn was so earned.
It was, but just the fact that like just let me enjoy my moment. I haven't done anything that deserves a moment. I haven't done a kind human thing in so long that it's like, let me just enjoy this. I'm going to spend the week like doing laps about what a good guy I was.
Right. No, I would do the same thing. Oh, it's so funny. And I would have done the same thing getting the popcorn. Yeah. So I probably would have got McDonald's or something though. But she wanted, I didn't like, listen, she's the one that's got food poisoning. I was going to be like, well, can we hit, I know you want to go here, but can I add a stop on the way home? I was like, no, I was like, wherever we go, I'll accommodate, So you just wanted to finish the good beat off. Holy.
Right. Plus I was a little nervous. Like, can you imagine, like, because, like, just because she's discharged from the hospital doesn't mean she's, like...
No, right.
Totally still fucked up. So, like, I didn't want to, like, be like, yeah, we're going to hit this drive-thru on the way home. And then, like, she's got to sit in a car smelling food, like... Right.
That would have totally taken the good beat out the window.
Right. Like, she's smelling chicken, that processed chicken and that nuggets. And, like, good luck holding down the nothing that's in your stomach. Yeah. So
wow. So well, that's all I got this week. I gave you a good solid 15 minutes.
Yeah, you showed up. I did most of the heavy lifting as usual. Anyway,
I'm gonna go take a shower and retire for the evening.
Yeah. Listen, we got to do another one of these at some point.
Yeah, I know.
We can't keep running reruns.
I know. All right, I'm done with you. Goodbye.
All right.